what I feel needs to happen is for Americans, especially, to become aware of the fallout that is going to come after all of these migrants that do not get asylum are left, like in Mexico or in the United States.
Hmm.
Because either way, they will be living in the shadows. They will be living in a country, they will be living in the shadows, they will be living without um, the ability to work openly. They will be living in fear that they're going to be deported. And what is that going to do to the Mexican economy, Mexican society, and what is it going to do on our side of the border? I don't think that these folks in these lawyers groups know or care. And while it may seem like it's not important because you should just accept everyone that comes over our borders and care for them. And in theory, yeah, yeah, if somebody's coming to our door and asking for help, knock knock, I need help. I'm fleeing some violence, something bad happened to me. It would be the same as if somebody came to your door in the night and knocked on your door and said, "My car just broke
Hmm.
down the road and it's freezing weather and I need help because I'm not going to survive. Can you let me in? Can I use your phone?
Yeah.
Can I stay here until an Uber arrives?" Or, right?
Hmm.
Right? We all have this level of humanity. We understand that. But if some, really intelligent activist working in tandem with many other activists on a campaign to try to shift politic and policy in this country thought that it would be good to have a car break down outside of your house every hour on the hour in such a way that not only were you not going to be able to take care of all the people coming to your door, but you're going to shut down that street with all the broken down cars and, and cause all sorts of problems that normal everyday people taking in someone that is in need of help would never expect or be prepared to deal with. What these folks are doing, again, it's not organic, it's unnatural, it's funded not by the people requesting asylum and not by the people migrating. These are very important things for you to take into account because the majority of the people that migrate have knowledge of where their end goal is. Nobody leaves their house and has no idea where they're going to end up. Nobody does that. Nobody that's sane. Two, they know how they're going to cross the border. In other words, they've either already saved money, borrowed money to pay a coyote to cross them over, or they've made some kind of an arrangement with someone. Like, I will smuggle some drugs into the United States in
Hmm.
exchange for you letting me cross into the United States safely. I'm just telling you how these things work, how they have traditionally worked, what happens in these exchanges. Of course, they're all underground, they're clandestine. People don't talk about coyotes with in a good light because these are usually people that are crossing folks that are undocumented and therefore in the shadows who can be easily exploited for trafficking, for sex, can be robbed, can be raped. Most women making this journey know that.
Hmm.
The majority of them go on birth control as soon as they're able to ovulate and have periods if they're coming in this direction because the majority of them will be raped. It is not if, but when you get raped along the way. So, knowing all of this, knowing the travails, knowing the incredible danger from the drug cartels, from the gangs, from extortionists, from traffickers, etc. Just the route itself, the length of the route. Most people know how there will be transportation, have already made arrangements for that transportation, know how they're going to cross. Most people already know how they're going to eat or sleep on the way. Some of them, many of them will tell you that they plan on hitting a well-known route that includes stops at shelters or places where they know that they can get a hot meal for free somewhere. Most of them will tell you that they know from experience how to make this trip. The majority of the people that you talk to that migrate, once they've done it, know how to do it, will do it again and again and again. Migration, especially of those from Mexico and Central America, used to be seasonal. People came, stayed for the season, worked, and then went home, back to their families. Since our immigration policies have changed, so has the migration. And one of the things that is completely inorganic about this is that thousands of people would get together, all leave without knowing a destination. With many of them do not have family in the United States or a soul to go and ask for any kind of sponsorship or support. Many of them don't. Think about how crazy that is. So most people that migrate are leaving with a goal in mind. I'm going to this state, to this town, going to meet up with my uncle, my sister, my cousin, my friend that has a job for me, waiting for me, that's going to help me get a job at this and such place. They know that. They come here with that in mind. Most of these people cannot answer these questions. Not when they're in Central America, not on the route. They don't know where they're going to go. They don't have anyone in the United States. If they do, they don't know if those people are going to help them. They don't have a plan for how to feed them for themselves, for how to travel. Most of them, it's their first time doing this. They have no idea how to jump over the fence, swim across the river, hire a coyote, hide. They don't know any of the things that most people that do this, that have done this before, know. And under any other circumstances that were not completely fabricated and funded by Americans, they would not be able to make this trip. So no, all of those of you out there who are angry about the migration, who are upset about the tens of thousands of people that are crossing all the time, who are upset about the millions that are already here, just know Americans are funding this. This was made in the USA. The caravan started in the ideology, in the mind, and in the pie in the sky dreams of making money and controlling power of Americans. Yes, they've got helpers in Mexico. Yes, this involves geopolitics in more than one country. Yes, it involves international interests of more than one country. Specifically, even more than Mexico and Central American countries. But make no mistake, started here in America.
Mm-hmm. Made in America.
Made in America. This is a catastrophe made by Americans, made in America. And what you are being told is that you're just supposed to accept. Well, of course. Of course we're going to accept whatever happens. People that end up here, Americans are very kind-hearted. Americans are always looking for a way to help their neighbor. We have natural disasters in the United States all of the time. Here, flooding, other places tornadoes, other places recently hurricanes and wildfires, and so on and so forth. And somehow the resilient people of America help their neighbors and make sure that people aren't left in the street homeless. We do what we can to help the people in our country, right? We do what we can to help the people that are here, regardless of whether or not what skin color they have or what documentation they have. That's already happening. We've already been doing that. But the question is, does it not make you mad? Does it not make you suspicious that someone is creating a natural disaster, that someone is fabricating a human crisis, funding it, and that for the most part, they expect that you will clean it up for them because they ain't going to do it. They're going to move on to their next campaign. They're going to move on to their next fraud. I think that it's unethical. I think that it is wrong. I think that it is akin to putting on a staged theater production, but not telling you that you're in a theater production. I've compared it to that show, What Would You Do, with that guy. Remember the guy?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name right now either, but at least at the end of that show, they tell you, hey, this is
They're
actor.
actors, yep.
These are all actors, and the situation was not real. And this, they don't tell you because they need your heartstrings to be pulled to the maximum so that you can contribute to something they don't really care about. Don't you get that? They don't even really care about the outcomes for these folks. That's what makes me upset. Because those of us who have been working to protect the rights of migrants in this country, undocumented and documented, people of color that just look like them, like yours truly, a Mexican crossing lines. I don't want to be discriminated either. His name is John Quinones.
There it is.
Sorry. Anyway, point is, what I am trying to tell you all is that we are being lied to. We have the right to ask. We have the right to question why something like this, inorganic, has been funded, is being orchestrated with American activists who are anti-government, who are against our very own government in the United States. Like anarchist, destroy the government style, anti-government, not just I don't want big government. No, like I don't want a government at all. Anarchy. That. I don't understand why we are being told, we are being silenced here at 88.1, whether it's on social media, whether it's because people don't want us to ask questions when we go to conferences, or whether it's because they don't like that we're talking to the migrants, the victims that they're leaving behind. Don't know. Don't know which of those things. Maybe it's all of them. Probably it's all of them that really upsets these folks, but they are upset. Nonetheless, I'm going to continue to tell you the truth about these pseudo activists claiming that they have the best interest of the migrants at heart. And that those of us who are willing to ask any questions, we're just cruel and heartless racists. That's it. Once they label you a racist or a fascist, you're done. You're finished. You can't comment anymore. So